Hello everyone, Neely here for a very exciting update. I'm very excited to welcome on our lead coder, BluuArc, for this month's quarterly update video.
Hello everyone, I'm BluuArc. I'm one of the lead devs for v0.24 coding.
So it's been a while since we've last given you guys an update regarding Brave Frontier, more specifically regarding the gameplay of Brave Frontier. And Blue has cooked up a lot of stuff for you guys, and we got a lot of questions and a lot to go over. First off, with our first video, we have the font comparison.
Yeah, so with this video, on the left is what you see with the last time you've seen any gameplay for the video. On the right side is with all the new stuff. Some changes you'll notice is that a lot of the UI, all the fonts and the enemy name, the unit name, the empty text name have all been updated along with the HP bar. There's now a turn counter, and the numbers, the HP bar has also been updated to more closely match what the game has shown, which is showing big numbers without a percentage. And what you're now seeing on the left, there was the plain damage numbers. On the right, there are some updated UI for the damage numbers and the killing numbers. The damage numbers were updated to show things like elemental weaknesses, elemental types, and in some cases also show you whether the hit has a critical hit or a spark. If it's a white outline, that indicates that it's a stronger elemental type. You'll notice here with Vargas, have a nice big number, whereas Sparky hitting the Mossy has a more faded yellow number because electric or thunder is not as strong against Earth in the elemental weakness system, whereas Vargas being a fire element is stronger against Earth and Earth units.
So we've got now the turn counter, we've got updated UI for displays, and we have elemental number variable. In just the first video, we already have 3 massive changes that not only just bring it way closer to home, but just make us that much closer to our goal of being able to deliver something great for you all.
Actually, one thing I do want to comment on, the damage numbers are actually something that are different from the base game. In the base game, when you have like a stronger or weaker elemental damage, the number just gets bigger or smaller. In my case, I wanted to try to convey more information for the brief time that the damage number appears. So notice here on the right, with it being red, it's going to be a fire damage from one of your fire units. With it being more of a bolded design, with it being, in this case, it's white and bigger than your regular damage number, it's a stronger attack. Whereas a smaller, a little more subtle number indicates that it's a weaker attack and didn't do as much as it could have, like with what Sparky did there to the King Mossy.
I noticed too that they have a little bit more of a shaking effect as well. Gives
the shaking
even more
effect was
effect of that
kind
too.
of there, I think, in the base game, and I've also carried it over here because I think it also gives the same. You did more damage by using the elemental system.
Absolutely, for sure.
And you can see there with the critical, there's an exclamation point, indicates that this hit is a critical hit, so it did a little bit more damage.
For our next video, going to be looking at the updated SAM animation for attacks, predominantly like Gazia, our lovely little gem that loves having issues.
Yes, so for some context, technical context, Gazia is a unit written in a SAM animation, which I think stands for Super Animation format, and it's different from how a lot of the other units in Brave Frontier written by, I think it's Alim, or like the original creators in JP written, which is using a series of sprite sheets and CSV files. SAM animations are special, well, at least for what we're doing here in Brave Frontier, that we rendered a bit differently. The first time we rendered them wasn't really great, but with this update here, we've gone ahead and improved the animation for Gazia and other units who use SAM animation to be more accurate to the basics. Notice that there is less flickering, the unit looks a lot more high quality. Notice that with the attack, there's not any weird flipping of part of his sprite during the attack animation. Overall, just a huge quality improvement, and it makes it more accurate to the base game.
Yeah, the colors and the detailing, the overall visual clarity is absolutely noticeable. And then of course the flickering is, once you see that, you can't really unsee it. And then continuing down the animations, taking a peek down our bosses for the warning.
This one is also another result of improving how we render SAM animations in Brave Frontier coded. On the left side is the old implementation. You'll notice that it's not aligned very well.
Just a little bit off.
The black background is centered in some weird way. The text looks mostly okay, but the little triangle is kind of misaligned, whereas on the right, everything looks centered, and it basically matches what you have in the original game. I'm happy too that just make the animations more accurate, make it a more faithful recreation of the original Brave Frontier game.
That's ultimately the goal at the end, stay as faithful as possible, and I think we're definitely right on track for delivering on that.
Yeah, stay as faithful as possible, but also considering more quality of life improvements where applicable. I want to be careful with not deviating too much from the base game, but still offering an overall improvement.
Next, we have our right controller comparison. More of something behind the scenes, but something cool to show everybody for what we have to work with.
Yes, what you're seeing here is some of the dev tooling that we have for testing our animation. So on the left is the old way we did animations, and the right is the new way. And what we're doing here is showcasing the difference in quality, the difference in size, the difference in accuracy in these animations, and how they are more faithful to the original game styling on here.
Then we have the return of death animation and the revive animation, which is very exciting.
The death animation, that one's actually custom outside of some of these fan animations for the global unit. I did not find a quote-unquote native death animation that's used for all of the other units, so I ended up handcrafting one on here that uses a series of some of the original summon animations along with using a little fade-in effect. It might be a bit hard to see here, but the effect here is that when you summon a unit, it'll display the little white glow, and then it'll make the unit appear initially as a full-on black shadow and then fade in with full color.
That is really cool. Wow.
You're summoning a unit from the beyond, so you don't know who it is yet, and then they come into poke you as the summoning complete.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing quality of life change.
The kill animation is the only one that's native to some of the units, like for example Galdia being a SAM animation for a global unit. That one has a native kill animation, whereas for most of the other units that are PSP based, like the starter units, lines and whatnot, I had to handcraft my own kill animation, which is just taking the unit and making it slowly fade away.
I think you absolutely nailed it. Looks like absolutely identical too. Because again, too, like you said, they are just being summoned from beyond. So, and especially in battle, that's going to make it look even more engaging, I feel personally.
Yeah, and one thing that I kind of skimmed over here, there are 3 buttons at the bottom of this demo page on the right. We talked about the kill animation, the revive summon animation, and then there's a victory animation. This is a precursor to some of the work done by the art team. And I think we saw it a bit earlier in this recording where we saw Selena do a little victory animation. That was done by someone on the art team. I worked with them to get the animation in a way that was compatible with what Breakfrontier code would expect, and if it's configured the right way, units will have a little victory animation when the battle concludes. So we'll notice here on the left, there's only attacking and moving. That was all that's there. On the right, we're going to see demos for attacking, flipping. Yeah, we can flip units because when it's a player unit, they face the left. When it's an enemy unit, they face the right. It can attack at any position. And then there's the custom kill animation there. And then there's the revive. And then there's a little victory animation from the art team.
Will be from artist Nubty, I don't know.
And things go well, we can pull in more of those animations I think we've seen on some of the other social media into the game.
I believe so far our goal is to have around 200 or so ready for when we go to our initial pre-alpha state. And I think right now we're almost at 50 or 60. Definitely great work all around. Alright, and then for our next video, some battle animations.
So this recording is showing off some work in progress stuff. We're able to recreate the original battle effects of a lot of the animations. So by default, there are no effects. You'll see the beginnings here for Bernie, the basic attack animation. For the Brave Burst, see some fire, and this recording will progressively get more and more flashy as we get to higher rarity units. Here is Vargas, his normal attack does some regular hits on there. This Brave Burst has some fire on it. Up next, we'll have Omni Vargas. This one is a lot more flashier. Keep in mind, this is still a work in progress, and some of the flashier units have some animations that are a bit hard to show off, or at least make it very hard to see anything on the screen as they become very, very bright and block your whole screen. Up next, I believe this one is Maxwell. Yeah, here we go. Here's Maxwell. So you got your normal attack, which is very flashy, purple thing. Here's your Brave Burst. And then very iconic Super Brave Burst. You get the full endless animation on here. And this is carrying over a lot of the improved animations that we saw in the previous recording, where Selena's animations are a lot brighter than what they were in the previous game updates. Looking through the animations on here, that's the Ultimate Brave Burst. Very hard to see because of all the effects that we need to continue tweaking on. but everything is slowly coming together. All the effects and sounds are synced to the best of our ability, so that means that when you start doing your normal attack, Brave Burst, Super Brave, or all the other bursts, they're going to be in sync with what they were on the previous game.
Getting really close down to the home stretch now, so what if we combine all that into one gameplay video? I think that'd be pretty cool to see, right?
I think that'd be really cool to see.
So this will officially be the gameplay for update 24. Extremely thankful for BluuArc for all their time and effort and dedication put into supporting the Recode project and helping it make it a reality. Could not be more thankful. Massive round of applause for you, Blue, around the world from everybody. Thank you so much for all that you do for us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Brave Frontier has actually been a long time counterpart to my career, honestly. I think it's in my bio about how much it's actually affected where I am today, like professionally, and with me being able to lead this recreation of Brave Frontier in this way is continuing to grow my professional skills. It's funny how that works.
Yeah. And you all should absolutely check that out down below in the description. We'll have BluuArc's page on the Recode website that you all can go view and read for yourself, learn more about them. And without further ado, update 24.